Hello and welcome, guys. A very good evening to all of you. My name is KP Singh and I welcome one and all to today's session on criminal law summarized. So we are resuming classes I am personally resuming classes after a long break of like more than 45 days. Some of you might remember me, most of you won't. So let's start. So now, CLAT is on 8 May. That means we are left with just 105 days. 105 days. So if we can discount today's day, we have just 105 days to complete whatever portion is remaining to make sure that we are able to give our best shot when the D-Day arrives. So guys, if you have any question, you can raise your hand. What I will do is I will try to summarize the entire criminal law sessions that you have started in last 1 year or 2 years or whichever program you have enrolled for. And I will try to touch upon all the important areas as well as some of the most crucial basics, right? And for upcoming classes, if you want me to cover any particular topic, any particular subtopic, or if you have a question in mind regarding that upcoming topic, you can always ping me on WhatsApp. Most of you have my number. I'm also connected with most of your Telegram groups and WhatsApp groups. You can just send me a message. For example, tomorrow we are going to conduct similar session on constitutional law. If there is any particular aspect of constitutional law which you would like me to touch upon, which you would like me to elaborate, just send me a message. I will make sure that that portion is covered. Well, for those of you who are attending my session for first class, my name is KP Singh. I'm a PhD scholar. I did my law from Law School Punjab and Masters from Law School Kolkata. I'm Chief Mentor for Law with IMS Learning Resources, and I'm also handling Get Set Law Jodhpur branch. Chale guys, so let's start. Let's start with the question. What do you understand by word crime? What is a crime? What is crime? The question. Let's see. I'm also posting my number in the chat box, so you can send me suggestions regarding upcoming classes. An offense, that is a very brief response. Any unlawful activity. Okay. Any act punishable by law. Gauri says any act punishable by law. Tanya says an act prohibited by law. Act or offense prohibited by law. Against human. Okay, chaliye. Kafi achhe jawab aa rahe hain. Well, guys, crime basically means any act or omission which violates public rights and duties. Now, some of you might be aware of public rights and private rights, difference between public and private rights. A right which you can claim against a particular person or entity is called your right in personam or a private right, personal right. And a right which you can claim against the society as large or against everyone, that is your public right. So can you give me an example of a private right? Let's say your right to claim share in ancestral property. पापा की प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा मांगने का हक. Private or public? So your right to claim share in your parental property is a private right or public right? Answer is private. So you can claim a share, but only from your family. If I want, can I sue Kokila Ben, Mukesh Ambani's mother, and seek a share in their fortune? Answer is no. Okay. After paying fee to IMS, you are entitled to attend IMS classes as well as master classes. So your right to attend this session is a private right or public right? Again, answer would be private. So it's a right which you can avail only against IMS and not against any other way. Your right to live, your right to life, you cannot be killed by whom? Who is not allowed to kill you? Answer is nobody. So it's a public right. So any Yashi is saying that your voice is still echoing. I think Yashi, then there might be an issue at your end because I got like 80 plus yes. Except you people is yes, Satish, that's also true. Okay. It is okay, but are you guys able to understand what I'm saying? I will try to. No, I have a loud voice, so might be that's the reason. Chaliye, so let's continue. Hold on, chaliye, let's continue. So any act or omission which violates public rights and duties is a crime. But that's not enough. There's an additional caveat to it or clause to it. We say any act or omission which violates public rights and duties and which affects the society as a whole is a crime. So in India, all the criminally punishable behaviors were codified in the year 1860. When British government started ruling us, we were under East India Company, but after the mutiny of 1857, Indian sovereignty went to the British Crown. And then they started enacting rules and regulations to regulate even the public right. East India Company was more interested in revenue laws, taxation, extracting money out of India. But when we came under the British government, they started looking at other aspects of our life too. The very first Law Commission of India was established under the leadership or chairmanship of Lord Macaulay. Lord Macaulay is remembered for bringing convent education or missionary schools to our country. So if you are convent product, you can say, "Hail Lord Macaulay," or "To the hell Lord Macaulay," based on your experience. So he was also the chairman of the first Law Commission. Law Commission is a body of legal experts. They do all the research work. They come up with their research draft, which is then submitted to the government. If government likes it, it will be converted into a bill placed before the parliament, and then if it receives sufficient votes and support, it becomes an act. It becomes law. So first Law Commission drafted IPC, Indian Penal Code, in the year 1860. It came into force in the year 1862. So IPC, three words: Indian Penal and Code. What does code signify? So was it written in some sort of code language so nobody could understand? Procedure. No, Mukta, code doesn't, okay, it's not precisely procedure. Okay. Conduct. Okay. So when we say British Constitution is not codified and Indian Constitution is codified, what is the difference? If you're also preparing for AILT, MSc and other exam, these one-liner questions are also important. Written. Okay, written and unwritten. Fair enough. So codification means when you arrange any piece of information into a systematically arranged order. So when you're putting everything which was in haphazard manner, you put it together, create a book out of it. That is called codification. So Indian Penal Code does a couple of things. One such thing is it accumulates all the criminal laws in India, arranges them in an understandable manner, and puts them all together in a book. So that is a code. So when we say Hindu code, all rules and regulations regarding Hindu law put together would be a Hindu code. So Indian Penal Code, Indian means it is applicable on India or on Indians. Penal means punishment. So IPC is the primary book of punishment. This is not the only book which prescribes punishment. There are other statutes also there. Okay, so there's a question, a pretty long one. I will take a second. Satish says, does this mean that the country of gentlemen can't even arrange their codes and conduct in a specified manner? Satish is referring to UK, Britain. Well, Satish, they suffer from superiority complex, not inferiority complex, superiority complex. So British used to think we are the creators of all these rules and regulations. We are the forebearers. So we don't need to write down information. For us, it is all common sense. It is all understood. Therefore, they never codified their book or their constitution in a book format. That doesn't mean that there is no constitution. They do have a constitution. It is just that it is not written in a book. So there is no Article 1 or Article 7. For India, Article 21 means right to life. Whichever version of constitution you are reading, whichever author's interpretation of constitution you are reading, you will always see Article 21 as right to life. So in Britain also they have right to life, but it is not associated with any particular number. Right? Sorry, I hope that answers your question, Satish. Let's move on. How does lawyers even operate? Well, Devashi, they are the original founders of common law legal system. You must be aware that we are part of common law legal system. India also follows common law legal system. What does common law imply? What does it mean? What is so common about it? It means that law evolved based on the common understanding of people. As in when a new situation arose, learned men sat together, they discussed, they deliberated, and they came to a conclusion. And that conclusion became binding for future similar cases. That is doctrine of precedent. So we are deviating from the topic, so let's go back. So IPC is for India and for Indians. It's a penal book, that means it prescribes punishment. There are other statutes also giving punishment for various kind of activities. They can be, for example, TADA, for example, let's say rules which generally are created during COVID protocols, right? But IPC is the main book. Well, so penal code means book of punishment. So how many types of punishment are there? There are many. So IPC defines all the offenses and it prescribes punishment for the same. So if you read this book, you will get to know which offense requires what all ingredients. So what is cheating, what is murder, what is culpable homicide, what is theft, what is dacoity. If you want to read the definition, you refer to the IPC. It also prescribes punishment for the same. So IPC was enacted 150 years back. 150 साल हो गए. That is the reason even commoners know about IPC, even if they don't understand IPC. For example, if I call you 420, you're not going to like it. Who is a 420? Who is a 420? Devashi says theft, no. Cheat, fraud. Perfect. So what is section 420? Section 415 defines cheating. Section 420 prescribes punishment for cheating. Right? So for more than a century, people know that this person is in jail because he is 420. But they don't know why do we call it 420? Why are we not calling him or her 421 or 450? Okay. Similarly, if you hear this sentence, ताज़ीरात हिंद दफा 302 के तहत आपको दी जाती है सजाए dash. So which punishment are you going to receive after the statement? Answer is death penalty, sazae maut. Right? So section 302. People don't know what is section 302, but they know इसमें मिलता है death penalty. Okay, let's move on. Well, so there are different types of punishment. The lowest or the most lenient form of punishment in India is called admonition. Admonition means scolding, डांट के छोड़ देना. So let's say if you are a first time offender, you did some minor offense, judge might let you go this time after scolding you for a while. Then if we go a bit higher, there is pecuniary punishment. Pecuniary means monetary. So they will impose fine. Take a notch up, then there will be corporal punishment, but not physical punishment in the sense that they will flog you or whip you. Here, we can only put a person in restraint. That means we can put a person behind bar. That is imprisonment. Now, imprisonment is also of two different types. Either you will get rigorous imprisonment or simple imprisonment. So when you are serving simple imprisonment, you will have to stay behind the bars for that particular time period. But if you have been given rigorous imprisonment, so shram karavas, then during that time period, you will also have to undergo hard labor. So pathar todna, chakki pisna is associated with rigorous imprisonment. And if you are not falling in line even while serving your sentence, yes, Devarshi, rigorous imprisonment still exists. So when they say you have to do hard labor, they are not minting money out of it. That's a form of punishment. Well, next. If you're not behaving properly in jail, then your punishment can change to solitary confinement. Solitary confinement means that you will have to stay alone in a cell. Well, ये बताइए, in Indian jails where we say there is overcrowding, in a 20 by 20 cell, there will be more than 20 people. In that situation, somebody is telling you that you will get a separate cell all for yourself. Isn't that a reward? Why is it more severe form of punishment? Let's say आप hostel में sharing में रह रहे हैं and somebody says अब आपको single room मिलेगा, that is your punishment. Is that really a punishment? Yes, it is. Why? because we need social interaction. Humans are social beings. We can't live without gossiping. Right? Remember, you will not get internet access in your solitary confinement. Yes. So solitary confinement is considered so severe that no person can be put in solitary confinement for a continuous period of more than 7 days. So 7 days is the maximum stretch of continuous solitary confinement that can be given. Let's go a step further. Next step is life imprisonment. So for how many years will you have to serve jail term if you have been given Umar Kaid? During life sentence, other Shri, solitary means you have to stay alone. They will put you in a cell and there will be no cellmates. So you don't get to interact with anyone. You stay alone, and that is torturous. They say if we put you in a blind cell for let's say 3 days or more, people lose sense of time. You would not know what time it is. And if we put you there for a longer duration, for better reference, watch movie called Underdog. Yes, Zinda. Okay. So Sarthak has a question. What is 3 times a life sentence? It is rhetorical, nothing else. It's more symbolic. When they say आपको double umar kaid दिया जा रहा है, 2 life terms. So one way of looking at it is under Hindu mythology, when you die, you are reborn, and again they will identify who you are and they will put you in jail. Is that so? Double imprisonment, life term? No, that's not possible. So in India, life term is not for 14 years. Vanshika is saying 14 years. That's incorrect. It is not for 10 years. It is not for 20 years, not 60 years, not 12 years. Life term, the word itself explains, and Supreme Court has clarified it multiple times. Life term means a person shall die behind bars. Umar kaid, Umar bhar ki kaid. Right? Yes, it's like marriage till death do us apart. Sorry. Chaliye, let's continue. And the highest form of punishment that you can get in India is called capital punishment. Now, capital doesn't mean money here. Capital means final punishment. So, final punishment is death penalty. We give death penalty only in rarest of rare cases, not even in every murder case, right? So, Devashi says to be beheaded. No, we are not Saudis. There are different ways of executing people, and different countries follow different systems. For example, in USA, they will electrocute you, right? They will make you sit on an electrical chair. In India, we don't follow that क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ light नहीं आता. No electricity, no electrocution. How frustrating would that be? आपको मारने के लिए बैठाया और आप 2 घंटे पावर कट है, क्या करें सर? अच्छा, in Saudi Arabia, they behead you publicly. Like every Friday, they will take you to that public square and gala event, right? If I would be there, मैं तो popcorn लेके जाऊंगा. But in India, it is considered very brutal, so we don't do that. In China, they will make you stand in front of shooting scope. We can't do that. Why? Because bullets are expensive. India to गरीब देश है. तो हम क्या करते हैं? We use recyclable method. So we hang people by neck. Obviously, you can wash that rope and use it again. सस्ता सुंदर टिकाऊ, the Indian way. चलिए, let's cost effective Devashi. Yes, let's continue. Okay. So different form of punishment for different form of crime, murder, rape, robbery, theft, extortion, dacoity, बहुत हो सकते हैं. Let's move on. Okay. So what is crime? I gave you the definition. And one more thing which I would like to point out here: there's difference between offense and crime. As laymen, we generally use these terms interchangeably, but these two words are not same. Guys, I'm adding one more process here. If you have a question, write it down in the Q&A section. If you're just commenting or saying yes, no, all right, voice is echoing, everything is fine, do it in the chat box. So chat box is open all the time. After every 5 minutes, I will check out Q&A to see what all questions are there. Right? Chaliye. Yash says in America, I guess they also give poison. You know, how America is a rich country, they can come up with innovative ways. हमारे यहाँ इतना innovation नहीं है. So we kill creativity. Chaliye. Anyways, so what is difference between offense and crime? Crime is a general word. Offense is more specific. When I'm saying offense, it means any behavior which has been made crime or which has been made punishable in the IPC, in the Indian Penal Code. So if a criminal behavior is punishable under IPC, it can be called an offense. Otherwise, it is just a crime. For example, in my family, eating non-veg on Tuesday is blasphemous. It is the most severe crime that you can ever commit. But that won't get me punished. Why? Because it is not an offense. Chaliye, let's move on. So in order to commit crime, there are two basic essentials which you will have to fulfill. First one being actus reus, second one is mens rea. Now what is actus reus? What is mens rea? There's a famous maxim called actus non facit reum nisi mensit rea, which translates to act alone is not sufficient to constitute crime unless accompanied by mens rea. So actus is not cactus, actus is action. So in order to commit crime, we need to do some act, some form of action, that is physical manifestation. And we also need a rea or reus here means guilty, wrongful. So we need wrongful action. Along with that, we also need mens rea. So wrongful mens. What is mens? It doesn't mean men, because women can also commit crime. If you don't believe me, watch Crime Petrol. Anyway, so mens rea here means mind. So we need wrongful act plus wrongful mind. If both elements are present, a crime will be committed or constituted. Otherwise, it's not a crime. Let me just go through some Q&A, then I will further explain these things. What is 3 times life sentence? Sarthak, that has been answered. These are more symbolic punishment. A person is actually getting only one life term. That's it. Let's say for any particular crime, they give you 3 different punishments. For trespassing into a house, 3 years jail term. Beating up the resident, another 4 years. Killing someone there, 10 years. So all 3 punishments will be running concurrently, simultaneously. So you are actually going to serve only the longest jail term, that is 10 years. I hope that clarifies. What about trustee? They are prisoners with special privilege is right, anonymous attendee. You need to explain this question further. In Indian jails, you will find 2 kinds of prisoners: under trial prisoners and convicted criminals. There's a difference. Under trial prisoner is not a criminal. Why? Because we believe in the concept of innocent until proven guilty. So till the time judgment is delivered in your case, you are considered innocent. So even if you are in jail, you don't have to follow same laws. That means there will be different rules for you. For example, you don't have to wear those striped shirts. You can flash your fashion. आपको जो पहनना है पहनिए अपने घर के कपड़े, because you are not a convict yet. Plus, you don't have to eat jail ka food. If you want to order, if your family members are kind enough, they will bring you food every day, homemade, home cooked, right? But convicted criminals don't get these privileges. But if you are in jail, even if you are under trial prisoner, my suggestion would be, if you're ordering food or if your friends are bringing food for you, ask them to bring a lot of it, because those people who won't get to eat, they might eat you up, or beat you up. Next question: what if someone survives a hanging? Sarthak, you need to be some sort of superhero to do that. So you can't survive hanging. Okay. What if someone survives hanging? That was the question. So let's move on. Is there a chance for parole when someone is serving life imprisonment? Yes, Vanshika, there is. I will have to explain parole for that. What is when you are in jail? If you are under trial prisoner, that means your trial is still going on. And if you want to secure your release, you approach the judge and file bail application. So bail can only be filed when your trial is ongoing. Matter is sub judice. It is still under consideration. If the judge allows you to go, that is called granting bail. It can be conditional or unconditional. Once your crime has been established and you're serving your sentence as convicted criminal, now if you want to go out for a few days, you apply for parole. Bail is a matter of right. Parole is discretion of the jail authorities as well as local authorities. So parole is like a relief which they give you for a few days. So parole can be given to any prisoner who is serving a sentence, even to people who are serving life sentence. In order to apply for parole, normally they require you to serve at least 1/4 of your punishment. So if I'm serving, let's say 8 years jail term, I can apply for parole after completion of 2 years. In case of life sentence, I can apply for parole after 5 years. That means they will presume that life term is of 20 years. And therefore, after 5 years, you become eligible to apply for parole, even if you're serving life sentence. चलिए हम बहुत बाहर चले गए Vanchika to answer your question. I hope that answers your query, and we'll move on to our concept quickly. Okay. Involuntary manslaughter. This is American terminology. In India, we don't use these words, manslaughter. We have more simpler terms: culpable homicide, amounting to murder and not amounting to murder. Intention plays a role. Yes, it does. Can't punishment. Kashish has this question: can't punishments run consecutively? Yes, they can. It is again discretion of the judge in many cases. Like Guru Ram Rahim Singh Insan, if you remember that guy, he got convicted for 2 different rape cases, and therefore he is serving consecutive punishments. So once he will finish off his jail term for the first offense, then he will start serving jail term for his second offense. Okay, Chali, I will go back to the concepts now. So we were discussing actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus is guilty act, mens rea is guilty mind. So if I only have mens rea, no actus reus, no crime is concluded. For example, I'm thinking about killing Anushka for asking so many questions right now, but I'm just thinking about it. I didn't do anything, so it's not a crime, right? Similarly, Radhika wants to strangulate me because my voice is echoing and she is finding it irritating, but because I'm not in your city and I'm safe, I can't sue you or file a complaint against you because you just thought of it, you never did it. So mens rea in itself is not a crime. Sochne ki puri azadi hai. You can think whatever the hell you want to think. Actus reus. What if there is only actus reus? I have a 3-year-old daughter. Whenever I pick her up, she starts slapping. Right? So rose pitta hu main. Many times I gave her warning. If you repeat it, I will lodge an FIR, I will file a criminal case against you. You will go to jail. But this only aggravates her conduct and I can beat her up even badly. Is there any remedy for me? Can I do something about it? So, मेरा 3 साल का बच्चा मुझे रोज मारता है. So there is actus reus, but there is no mens rea. Why is there no mens rea? मार तो रहा है, physical evidence. I'm getting beaten up. Okay, so if you have studied general defenses, you would know that in India, any person who is under 7 years of age is considered doli incapax, which means incapable of forming mens rea. So, itna chota bacha crime nahi kar sakta is legal presumption. Similarly, can you give me any other example of doli incapax, person incapable of forming mens rea? Yes, there are 122 plus students right now, so I won't be able to allow you people to speak up. This will become a lot of crazy discussion. Unsound mind. So I got like 20 plus answers. Insanity, correct. So insane, a person with unsound mind is also doli incapax. Okay. Chale, let's move on. So actus reus plus mens rea. Let's say नींद में सोते हुए you took a turn, पास में सोते इंसान को थप्पड़ लगा. It is not a crime. There is actus reus, but no mens rea. Okay, so when there is actus reus plus mens rea, we say a crime got committed. Now, if we want to discuss mens rea in detail, there are 3 subcomponents of mens rea. In order to have mens rea, you need to have motive, intention, as well as knowledge. So, what is motive? Motive is the ultimate objective, aim, goal that you wish to achieve by committing the crime. Maqsad. क्या हासिल करना चाहते हैं. So in order to find out motive, you can always use question word why. So when you ask the criminal, like they do in CID in the last scene, why did you do it? Motive will come out. I wanted to take revenge. I was jealous. I wanted to become rich. So motive is your ultimate aim, your objective, your goal. Motive is something that will prompt you to form your intention. Next is intention. So what is intention? It is the conscious exercise of your mental faculties to do an act. In simpler words, your determination to do something. When you decide to do something, again, it is not the action, but only your determination. Okay, lot many comments. Chaliye. So intention means your determination to do something. In Urdu or Hindi will say irada. What do you want to do? So question word here which you need to note down is what. So what were you going to do? Criminal will tell you his plan of action. That is intention. Third important component is knowledge. What is knowledge? It is conscious awareness about the consequences of your act. जब क्राइम करते वक्त आपको पता है that if I do XYZ, this is what is going to happen. This is prior awareness of the consequences. That's called knowledge. In order to find out knowledge, we ask a question, how? Now, let me give you an example or a story to make it more clear. Okay, chaliye. So let's say, let me create a story for you. Okay, Sashank. So I will, somebody was raising hand. I don't know who it was. So I will just pick up someone. Let's say Sashank. Imagine you have this old grandpa in your house. Well, grandpas are old. तो आपके घर में एक पुराने दादाजी है, सबके पुराने होते हैं, नए किसी के नहीं. And your dadu is very rich, right? Like most of the dadajis. So your grandpa is very rich, but he is not going away, right? And that is also part of your problem. So when he goes, he will leave you a lot of money to inherit. But right now, under COVID situation, you are thinking that पता नहीं दादाजी से पहले मेरा नंबर ना आ जाए. So I will never get to enjoy my life. So you came up with a plan. You know that दादू रोज शाम को पैग लगाते हैं या दूध पीते हैं अपने अपने दादाजी, right? So you can imagine as per your convenience. And you have also read somewhere that potassium cyanide is a very potent chemical. It will do the job. So you decided to add potassium cyanide to your dadu's drink and leave a love note with some snacks. Dear dadu, with love, please enjoy your last supper or your supper, whatever. Right? And before anything could go wrong, you were caught. Now you are being interrogated, and prosecutor, or let's say interrogator, wants to write down your motive, intention, and knowledge. Can someone speak up and tell me what is motive, what is knowledge, and what is intention in this setup? Let's see. Will anyone like to try? There are two people who raised hand. Oops. Okay. So Tejaswani, I'm allowing you to talk. Let's see what you have to say.
Am I audible?
Bataiye.
Am I audible?
Motive, knowledge, intention.
Hello?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So the motive here was to kill his grandfather. I'm sorry. The motive over here was to get all the money. And the intention here was to kill the grandfather in order to get the money. And the knowledge was that potassium cyanide would lead to the death of the grandfather.
So if I ask these same questions again, what were you going to do? What will you respond?
I was going to kill my grandfather.
Why?
In order to take his money.
How was it?
By poisoning his drink with potassium cyanide.
Good enough. So you can go back to mute now. Let me give you a couple of more pointers here. Well, so guys, in this situation, knowledge, motive, intention can be identified by using question words why, what, and how. It is prosecution's responsibility to establish your guilt, not your responsibility to prove your innocence. So movies mein when you see that scene, मैं बेगुनाह हूं जज साहब, वो फर्जी scene होता है. You don't really need that. Clear है? Okay. So you don't really need to say मैं बेगुनाह हूं जज साहब. ये तो जज मान के चल रहा है. You're innocent until proven guilty. It is the prosecution's job to prove all these things. They will have to prove actus reus. They will have to prove mens rea. That means they need to prove motive, intention, and knowledge. Now, actus reus is easy to prove. There's a dead body lying in my living room. That means crime took place. Now, even if I'm arrested, how will they establish mens rea? Because mens rea is your mental state. So Tejaswini told me that her intention was to kill Daddu or Dadaji. But that is in her mind. What if she says that I never intended to kill Dadaji? How are we going to prove it? In order to do that, prosecution takes help of knowledge. Why? Because knowledge is common sense. And based on knowledge, intention can be inferred. For example, if I jump off from a 6-story building, what will happen? I will die. So if I'm running towards my rooftop in order to jump off and I'm caught just before I was about to jump, during trial, can I say that I thought I will fly? Then they will take me to mental asylum. So common sense gives us knowledge. Based on that, we can identify the intention. For example, if I fire a shot at you, what will happen? You will die. So if I'm pointing a gun towards you and I fire a shot, what is my intention? I wanted to kill you. Can I say I thought you're Rajnikant and the bullet will bounce back? No, I can't. I hope it is clear. So let me give you a few more examples. Okay. Question is for Yash, because there's an example for you, Yash. So Yash, it says Yash decided to work hard in order to top CLAT exam. Here it is written to you, you take it for CLAT if you are applying for CLAT. Can you differentiate knowledge, motive, and intention? Just raise your hand, I will allow you to speak. Question is for Yash, but others can also become Yash for this one. Okay. I don't know. I was trying to unmute Yash and I did it for someone else. Yes, Yash, you are allowed to speak now, please.
Yes, sir.
Knowledge, motive, intention. Read the sentence written below and differentiate.
Motive. Motive is something that promotes a person to form an intention. It is sometimes a compelling force to commit crime.
You don't have to read motive, just read the example written below on your screen. It says Yash decided to work hard in order to top X exam. Now, in this situation, what is your motive, what is your intention, and what is the knowledge?
My motive is to top the exam.
Okay. And what is the
Intention
intention?
is to work hard.
And knowledge?
Knowledge is also, I guess, work hard.
Knowledge is that if you work hard, you will succeed.
Okay.
Right? Chalo, so 105 days to CLAT.
It's with me. I'm actually preparing for DULLB.
You are preparing for DULLB. Yes, so आपके लिए तो perfect है. So if you work hard, you will succeed, and that is obviously the secret to success. Some people say it is hard work, right? And then there are others who come up with shortcut solution and say no, it is not hard work. It is the smart work that is secret to success. But do you guys know what is really the secret to success? It is this. It is the common factor in these two fundas, and that is work. That's it. Work is the secret to success. In other words, participation. So until and unless you start participating, you will not succeed. So खेलने में जीतने के लिए तो खेलना ही पड़ता है, हारने के लिए भी खेलना पड़ता है. Even in order to lose, you need to participate. So this is a suggestion from my end to all of you. Please start attempting your test. If whenever I am checking out your my IMS portal, I see that the test performance is not that high. Why? Because you haven't completed the database that is available with you. There are more than 5,000, 10,000, 7,000 questions in your database. If you log in today, you will see the progress bar, and hardly 10% questions you guys have solved. And still there will be few cribbing about we need more tests. Finish off what is available and then come up demanding for more. We will be more than happy to grant your wish. Yes, you can go back to mute. We'll continue knowledge, motive, and intention. One more question. Let's say Kashish, आपके लिए. So it is क्या बनाए? ठीक है. Nandini, anybody can answer. So Kashish decided to join gym in order to get 6-pack abs. Again, knowledge, motive, intention. You people can write down or raise your hand if you want to answer. So X decided to join gym in order to get 6-pack abs. There are so many hands up. So this time, let's say Adishri. Adishri, you're allowed to talk. Speak up. Sorry. Yes, Adishri, you're allowed to.
Hello, so am I audible?
हाँ जी, yes, audible. बताइए.
Motive is to make a 6-pack app.
Yes, to get into better shape. Okay.
Yeah, and intention would be also the same.
Intention and motive will not be same. So intention is your determination to do an act. What is the act here?
Okay. And knowledge join gym.
If you exercise, you will get in shape. That
Yeah.
is knowledge, right? And
Yes.
you decided to exercise, that's your intention. That I will exercise now onwards. And your motive is to achieve something out of it. Sure, guys. So let's move on to next part. I hope this much was clear to everyone. So knowledge, motive, intention. In order to commit a crime, actus reus and mens rea के अलावा we need couple of stages or steps. What are those steps? What will be the first step? Let me just go through a few questions first. Okay. If there is a guilty act but not a guilty mind, then you are not at fault, anonymous attendee. So we need both actus reus as well as mens rea. What about crimes like involuntary manslaughter? They don't require a guilty mind or intent, but still counts a crime. Simpler example, accident, road accident. You know, word accident implies that there was no intention, but still, if you are responsible for one, you will be prosecuted and punished. So there are exceptions to the rule. In law, you will find exceptions in almost every statute. So there, you might not have intention to do wrong, but there is enough carelessness on your part or recklessness on your part, which holds you accountable. So, for example, anonymous attendee, if which city are you guys from? Are anybody from Mumbai? In Mumbai, if you go to town side, you will find these chapri guys doing bike stunts all the time, right? Sadak ke beech mein, Yamaha. Now, when that chapri guy is trying to do it, does he want to harm others? No. Is he willing to harm himself? No. But is he aware of the risk involved? So he is being careless, or you can say reckless. Reckless means willful disregard, and therefore if anything goes wrong, he will be prosecuted and punished. I hope that answers your question, anonymous attendee. We'll move on. Okay, why some people get special treatment in jail? Nandini's question. Well, Nandini, it depends if you have good connections like Salman Khan. Well, as per law, we say everybody shall be treated equally. Okay, Devarshi has a question. Will the parole period be included in imprisonment period? Devarshi, yes. That's a discount of 5-7 days that you will get. Okay. What is difference between motive and intention? Radhika has this question. Radhika, is it clear to you now, or do you want me to explain it again? Can we get the recording of this class? Adishri, I think you will get recording of this class. I'm not too sure, but because we are conducting it on Zoom, there is a very high possibility that yes, you will. Okay. Knowledge, motive, I hope is clear. Okay. Next point is stages of crime. In order to commit a crime, there are 4 stages that you need to clear. First stage would be, again, mental state or forming intention. आपको सोचना पड़ेगा. I thought teaching is not enough. I need to start a second job or second, business in order to make more money. So I came up with the idea of chain snatching. ठीक है Akshata? I hope that's fine with you. So I told my plan to Akshata that this is what I'm going to do, chain snatching. I got to know, I'm in Jodhpur right now here, Marwadis, they put on a lot of gold jewelries. Even in South, I've seen this culture. People carry a lot of gold, like Bappi Lahiri. Every other lady is Bappi Lahiri, Lady Bappi Lahiri in Jodhpur. Okay, so nice business. And because I'm running short of cash, I thought I will do it without using moped or car. So I will do it on foot. So in order to succeed, I need to prepare for that. So just because I told you that I am thinking about starting a chain snatching business, and you are complaining to the cops, will I get punished? क्या सिर्फ सोचना काफी है? Answer is no. Thank you, Akshara. Right? For example, if you're thinking about killing Yash, and I get your vibes right now, और मैंने complain कर दिया, will you get punished? Answer is no. right? Chaliye, next step. So next step would be, any guesses? After forming intention, preparation, Harsh, that's correct. So preparation means you started obviously preparing for the day. So abhi kya prepare kar sakta hu main? I started jogging around Juhu Beach to get better speed, and that too, body pe oil laga ke, so that if somebody tries to catch hold of me, they slip. Right now, Akshara is watching me prepare for this thing every day. Again, she goes to police. Look, this guy is very serious. He's already preparing for it. Will they act on it now? Will I get punished? No. Kashish has a question. So similarly, Kashish, you wanted to kill Yash, and you thought that you will kill him by what's it? By strangulation. Strangulation means गला घोटेंगे आप. So practice करने के लिए घर पे एक pillow पे आपने यश का फोटो लगाया, and you daily you practice strangulating the pillow to get the grip. One day I visited your place, I saw the scene, and I complained to the cops. Will you get punished? Kashish रोज तकिए का गला घोटती है. Again, answer is no. So preparation is also not enough. I wanted to stab you, so I started keeping a knife with me. I want to poison you, so I bought like 10 bottles of rat poison and I'm storing it in my house. Will I get punished for buying rat poison? Again, answer is no. So preparation is not enough. Okay, step 3, stage 3 is attempt. Chale, Bhumi says attempt, that's correct. So let's say I go to Juhu Beach, I spotted a Gujarati or Marwadi auntie. I tried to snatch her chain, and when I was trying to run away, I tripped, I fell, and I was caught. So will I get punished now, or will they tell me better luck next time? Yes, I will get punished. So ideally you get punished at stage 3, and that stage is the stage of attempt. Last stage is obvious answer, commission, means completion. Okay, well, as I said earlier, there are exceptions in law for almost everything. There are a few offenses in which you get punished even at the stage of preparation. For example, if you're preparing to wage war against India, we will not let you try. Preparing to commit terrorism or being part of a dacoit gang, that means if you're part of organized criminal gang, even if you have not committed crime, if you're part of the group, you will get punished. So when we read in the newspaper that X person from Dawood Ibrahim's D company or Chota Rajan's Giro got arrested, might be they are not actually doing something at that point of time. They just visited their folks, their parents, and they got arrested. चलिए, so अगर आप लोग डी कंपनी के मेंबर हैं तो प्लीज अपना आई कार्ड किसी को दिखाए नहीं. लेट्स मूव ऑन. चलिए, तो ये हमने बात किया स्टेजेस ऑफ ऑफेंसेस के बारे में. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू इंडियन क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम, व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एडवर्सरियल सिस्टम. So adversarial system is symbolized with letter A. You might have seen lawyers putting up that bow in their neck. देखा है lawyers का tie? It looks like upside down V. That's actually an A, and which means adversarial system. Well, most of the lawyers don't know that if you ask, but that's what it means. So adversarial system is a system in which in the court of law there will be two sides, two lawyers arguing for their clients, and there is a third party, the judge, in the form of the judge, who is considered neutral. So if you see that image on your screen, Lady Justice or Lady Justicia or Asticia, as they say, is the Greek goddess of justice. Blindfolded lady, this idol or statue or picture you might have seen, everything about her is symbolic. Why is she blindfolded? Why is she blindfolded? कानून अंधा होता है, Akshara says. That's incorrect. She is not blind, she is blindfolded. There's a difference. So she is Gandhari. If you remember Gandhari from Mahabharat, her husband was blind, she wasn't blind. So कानून अंधा नहीं है, कानून देखना नहीं चाहता. Law can see but it won't see. So law is unbiased. So judge is not going to see whether you are rich or poor, whether you are Ambani or Aam Aadmi. Everyone is equal in the eyes of law. Why? Because law is blindfolded. Chale, next. Okay. She's holding scale in one hand and sword in the other. That means if law is blind or blindfolded, how will it decide? It will decide based on the weight of your evidence, your testimony, the law points that you pointed out, case laws that you cited, and if required, court will also use force to implement justice. So arrest warrant, search warrants can be example of the use of sword. So we in India believe that let 100 criminals go scot-free, but not a single innocent person shall get punished. चाहे 100 गुनेगार छूट जाए, एक बेगुनाह को सजा नहीं होना चाहिए. मूवीज में सुना होगा, आगे देखा भी होगा, and which is true. So how do we implement it? We actually implement it. So if you check out the data of NCB, National Crime Record Bureau, you will be surprised to know that in our country, conviction rate is below 5%. That means out of 100 cases being filed, eventually only 4 to 5 people will get punished. So 95 people will go scot-free. So let 100 people go scot-free, but not a single innocent person shall get punished. How do we ensure that? We have created our adversarial system in such a manner that there are many checkpoints which ensure that no innocent person shall get punished. For example, presumption of innocence. Every person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Correct? Next benefit is that in court, judge plays the role of an umpire. So if you guys are fond of IPL, umpire किसकी तरफ से खेलता है? अंबानी. I hope. नहीं, देवशील नन नहीं है आंसर, अंबानी है. But anyways, if you're watching international cricket, their umpire needs to be neutral. So even if in India-Pakistan match, if umpire is from India, he is not going to favor India. So he has to stay neutral. That means even though judge is a government servant, he is not going to favor the prosecution. Prosecution means the state side, government side. So all criminal cases are fought between state, that is prosecution, versus the accused or the defense. So title of the case would be state versus accused or prosecution versus defense, right? So now imagine burden of proof, that means onus. किसको मिलना चाहिए? In a civil case, when two private parties are fighting over an issue, let's say Mukesh Ambani versus Anil Ambani, both will have to prove their side of the story. So onus keeps on shifting. Landlord versus tenant, judge will not participate, onus will keep on shifting. But in a criminal case, parties are not even. In the one corner, you have the mighty state, Sarkar, जिसके पास सब कुछ है. Government has all the resources. They have forensic experts, handwriting experts. They have police department. They have CID, CBI, ACB, Pradyuman, Daya, Salunke, whatnot. On the other hand, there is an individual. Many times that person is behind bars, serving as under trial prisoner. So who is in a better position to prove things? Obviously the government. And therefore, burden of proof in a criminal case is always and always on the prosecution side. So it is always prosecution's responsibility to prove your guilt, not your headache or your burden to prove your innocence. Understood? Onus means burden of proof. Onus is burden of proof. साबित करने का दायित्व. Okay. So we say person is innocent until proven guilty. Then we say it is the prosecution who needs to prove everything, whatever we started. Intention, motive, knowledge, actus reus, mens rea. And not just that, standard of proof required in criminal case is much higher. So they have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. So that's not enough that you're proving it, you need to prove it beyond doubt. In case of doubt, benefit will always go to the accused. In a cricket match, when they refer any decision to the third umpire, let's say there's a case of run out and umpire on the ground is not sure, it was referred to the third umpire, and if there are 50-50 chances, what will be the decision? Will they say out or not out? So benefit of doubt, cricket match में किसको मिलता है? Batsman or bowler? Tanya says not out, and Tanya, that's correct. Maria says not out. So benefit of doubt is always given to the batsman. Isn't it similar? Right? So who has the most to lose? सबसे ज्यादा स्टेक पे किसका है? बैट्समैन, उसका विकेट चला जाएगा. क्रिमिनल ट्रायल में सबसे ज्यादा स्टेक पे कौन है? फ्रीडम ऑफ द अक्यूज्ड. इतना ही डिफरेंस है. रॉन्ग डिसीजन इन अ क्रिकेट मैच will get you an out. In a criminal trial it will put you in. So in and out. Chaliye, let's move. So benefit of doubt is always given to the accused. For example, let's say if age of the accused is not known, accused is claiming that I am 15 years old and prosecution is saying that this guy is 19 years old. If there is no birth certificate, no class 10th mark sheet, then we will have to rely on medical examination. So if we got medical examination conducted and doctor says that the age is 18 years, there's always margin of error of plus minus 2 years. So it can also be 16, it can also be 20. Which one will the court accept? Simple situation. Devashi says 20, that's incorrect. Bhumi says 16. Shruti says 16, Vanshika 16. The answer is 16. Which age will benefit the accused? Accused को किसमें फायदा है? कम में या ज्यादा में? कम में. तो अगर आपकी उम्र 16 से कम है, if you're under 16, then the maximum jail term that you will get is 3 years. चलिए, let's move on. Adishri, you can put your hand down now. Anybody whose hand is up, right? Unless there is some unanswered question, I will again go to the Q&A section quickly. Okay. What if you murder someone but you forgot that you murdered someone? Would you still be punished? Yes, answer is yes. You know, in civil cases, there is limitation law. Limitation means that you can approach the court within a stipulated time period. For example, if I give you a check right now, what is the lifespan of a check? For how many days or months is a check valid in a country? Devashi says 3 months. That's correct. Right? Okay. Similarly, when let's say I borrowed money from you and never returned it on due date, you get the right to approach court. So what is the time frame within which you need to approach the court? Answer is 3 years in this matter, right? So it can be 3 years. Now in civil cases we can put up a time period, but in criminal cases law is common sense, but common sense of rational people. If you apply common sense, you will give the right answer. Chaliye, so I will share something with you, Gaurav. You know, 20 years back, I killed my neighbor and dumped his body in my backyard. It is still buried there. Nobody caught me. So if somehow that body is recovered today, will I get prosecuted and punished? Or will they say, अब तो बहुत पुरानी बात हो गई, जाने दो. 20 साल पुरानी बात को लेके कौन लड़ता है? So there is no time limit in criminal matters. I hope that clarifies. Chaliye, let's move on. So we were talking about adversarial system. We talked about basics of criminal law. Now quickly, let me tell you a bit about defenses. I hope this much is clear, whatever we started today. Chaliye, great. Is Chota Rajan, is Chota or Bada Rajan Bada? Anonymous attendee, good question. A very intelligent question, I would say. I think Chota Rajan is Chota than Daud, but Bada than Chota Shakim. Therefore, they call him Chota Rajan. Okay. Okay. Why don't we have jury trial in India? Because Indians are stupid. Sorry, I take my words back. Because Indians are emotional. I think that's the right way to put it. So Indians are emotional. So in the landmark case of KM Nanavati, they did a blunder. Jury decided that the person is not guilty when there was enough evidence on the table to prove his guilt. Why? Because in KM Nanavati, if you guys have watched that movie called Rustam, it is based on KM Nanavati, though actual facts are not depicted in the movie. It's Bollywoodized version of KM Nanavati. So in the real case, there was no top secret Indian file or nationalism there. It's a simple story. One naval officer caught his wife in compromising position with his best friend. So he decided to do something about it. He goes back to his dock, gets his service revolver, comes back to his place, drops his wife and kids to nearby movie theater, then goes to his friend's place, knocks on his door. When the friend came out, he asked a question, are you going to marry her? Friend said no. Then he fires a shot and kills him. Now, Indian jury, when they heard the story, they got emotional. फौजी है, Navy. हमारी रक्षा करते हैं. So how can we think anything wrong about those people? So Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever it is, they are untouchables. We can't, criticize them. Second, he is being betrayed by his wife, बेवफा सनम. Third, he also got betrayed by his best friend. तो कितना बुरा हुआ बेचारे के साथ. Jury said he is not guilty. Everything else pointed towards his guilt. So our lawmakers decided that let's just stop it. And therefore, jury system was abolished. I hope that answers. Let's move on. So defenses are basically excuses. क्या बहाने लगा सकते हैं when you are in court? So what defenses can you come up with? Broadly, your defenses are of two categories. So your substantive defenses, either you will say that you lacked mens rea. What is mens rea? Mental intention. So that means you can say involuntary intoxication, you can say मैं तो पागल हूँ, insanity, you can say I'm Bodily in capex, मेरा तो age कम है, right? Okay, and next is justification. Justification means even if there was mens rea, you had some solid reasoning behind committing that crime. For example, self-defense. Okay, so I hope you guys are having a lot of fun. Well, guys, chat box can be used the way you want. I generally don't mind. If you have a question, put it in Q&A section. Right? Chaliye. Let's move on. So there are many defenses that people can come up with. For example, duress. For example, age, mistake of fact, insanity, necessity, involuntary intoxication, unconsciousness. Well, I hope all of you have studied these concepts, so I'm not going to get into details. I will give you quick pointers. Duress, for example, means coercion, pressure, force, when you were compelled to commit a crime. So duress only works when you were coerced or threatened to commit a crime. So you are under compulsion. In order to claim this defense, you need to establish two things. First, that the threat was of serious consequence. Secondly, threat was inescapable or imminent. अगर ये दो चीजें आपने प्रूव कर दिया तो आप बच सकते हैं. For example, let's say all of us are sitting in one room and I threaten Vanshika that Vanshika, if you don't kill Yash, I will slap you. So Vanshika didn't want to get slapped, so she decided to kill Yash. Can you claim duress in the court of law later on? मैं मजबूर थी जज साहब. Answer is no. Why? Because the threat was not grave enough. Enough? चल इसका उल्टा करते हैं. If I say that if you don't slap him, I'm going to shoot you. In this case, you can use defense of duress. So let's say in the virtual class, if I'm saying the same thing, right? I'm holding a gun with me and I'm saying, Vanshika, if you don't kill Yash, I'm going to shoot you. Now, if she decides to kill Yash, can she claim duress? Again, answer would be no. Why? Because threat is not imminent. Simple? Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on. So mistake or age, in case of age, in order to have complete immunity, you need to be under 7. Any person under 7 is considered Bodily in capex. If you are in the age bracket of 7 to 12, the judge will have the discretion to decide whether to consider you Bodily in capex or not. If you are under 16, you can be punished for up to 3 years for whatever crime you have committed. Maximum jail term is 3 years. If you are in the bracket of 16 to 18, then you get 3 years jail term. But if you are found guilty of murder or rape or some other heinous offense, in that case, you can be given a linear jail term. If you're above 18, then sorry to chaliye. Okay, let's move on. Yash says, what if I was born on Feb 29th? Then you won't get to celebrate birthday every year and people will not wish you on your birthday. And you will be celebrating fake birthdays for 3 years. Okay, next is Mistake. So wherever we say mistake of fact and mistake of law. Mistake of law is not an excuse. Mistake of fact is an excuse. So let's say, take the case of Aryan Khan. Aryan Khan was caught with some contrabands on narcotic drugs. क्या मिला था आर्यन के पास? Any Aryan Khan fan here? Weed. Okay, चलिए. Some cocaine, some weed. चलिए cocaine मिला उसके पास. Cocaine is a white powder. So what if he says when he's caught, I didn't know that it is illegal to consume cocaine. मेरे घर में तो सब करते हैं, पापा भी करते हैं, मम्मा भी करते हैं. I thought normal है. Will this work as a valid defense? Answer is no. But why? Because ignorance of law is not an excuse. Ignorantia juris non excuse. But ignorantia facto excuse, which means ignorance of fact is an excuse. So for example, when he's caught with cocaine, and if he says, I didn't know it is cocaine, I thought it is salt. Somebody told me, my type ka namak hai, naak se leta. That could work as a good defense. Mistake of fact. So let's move on. So mistake of fact versus mistake of law. Okay. Okay, insanity, there are multiple ways to define insanity. We go by the legal definition and not medical definition, right? Insanity basically means you committed a crime, but mentally you were not able to differentiate between right and wrong, right? It can be because of medical condition like kleptomania or schizophrenia, or it can be because you are total gone case. Okay, chaliye, let's move on. Try out this case. Let's see if you can guess the right answer. ALA type question है. ALAT में काम आ जाएगा या MSCT. Answer in the chat box and not Q&A. I will go through the Q&A meanwhile. There's a question. Is it important to know all the cases for exam? No, not all the cases, but only the landmark ones. From this coming Monday, we will resume weekly law scope. I will try to cover important landmark judgments of past 1 week or 2 weeks in that session. And we will also conduct, like every year, specialized important 150 GK topic classes in future, which we do every year for our students. You can attend those. We will also cover important landmark cases in that. Okay, CAAC. Okay. In this case, the right answer, guys, is C. X has done no offense. He can plead defense of unsound state of mind. Now, people who are not picking C, they might say that where is it written that he is unsound, of unsound state of mind? Well, guys, examiner will not mention it or write it down explicitly. Then where is fun in that? अगर लिखे दिया कि पागल है तो फिर question क्या बचा? So you have to apply the test of reasonableness and come to a conclusion. No reasonable man would put or throw his kid in the well to take a bath. और बच्चे की age कितना लिखा है? 3 years. So that's insanity. And it is mentioned that he doesn't know how to swim, and then also he jumps into the well to take a bath. That again proves that this person is not in sane state of mind. Correct answer C. Another defense many people wrote in the comment box, so I will try to discuss this one. Involuntary intoxication. So intoxication is not a defense in a country. Involuntary intoxication is. Okay. So how much time are we left with? 45 minutes. Chaliye, involuntary intoxication means. Another trick. Whenever you see any definition starting with word nothing, you can say that it is defining some defense. When definition starts with words like whoever and anyone, that is generally an offense. So any definition starting with anyone or whoever is definition of offense. Any definition starting with nothing is definition of defense. Okay, so involuntary intoxication means nothing is an offense which is done by a person who at the time of doing it by reason of intoxication becomes incapable of knowing the nature of the act, or that what he is doing is wrong or contrary to law, plus provided that the thing which intoxicated him was administered to him without his knowledge or against his will. In order to understand this definition, let me explain it in parts. Let's start from the Last phrase, without his knowledge or against his will. Wherever you see or, you can replace it with a slash sign. Wherever you see and, you can replace it with plus sign. So either of these two, without his knowledge or against his will. Chalo. For example, let's say you came to my birthday party and Unnati, I'm insisting that you should have a drink. She kept on resisting, nahi, nahi, main nahi peeti, I don't want to drink, and I was pestering, peena padega, I insist, please do it. And after 30 minutes of persistence, she decided to take a couple of shots. Then she picks a bottle and throws it at somebody's face. Can she claim involuntary intoxication as a defense? Yes, no, yes, no, no. Answer, guys, would be no. Why? Because still she consumed alcohol willingly. It wasn't against her will. So when they say against will, it should be against your physical will. Like हाथ पैर पकड़ के जबरदस्ती पिला दिया होता या syringe लगा दिया होता, then it would be involuntary. Without your knowledge, for example, गणपति का लड्डू बोल के अगर मैं आपको भांग का लड्डू खिलाता हूँ, that is without your knowledge. So without your knowledge or against your will. Okay. Chale, so one point is clear. Next is at the time of doing it. So like 2 days back, I killed someone, and today, because I'm in depression, I'm having a lot of booze. Police came to arrest me. Can I say, आज मैंने बहुत पी रखी है, please छोड़ दीजिए? Answer is no. What if 2 days back I had a lot of drink, and today I'm angry कि किसी ने मुझे ज़्यादा पिला दिया, and now I go to that person's place and beat him up? Can I use involuntary intoxication? Again, answer is no. So you should be in inebriated state at the time of committing that crime. Okay. So how much intoxication is too much intoxication? In order to understand this, many people get confused regarding the degree of intoxication required. Right? 2 पैग में मानेंगे या 4 पैग में या 6 में? Well, it varies from person to person. Might be, सतेज एक ढक्कन में आउट हो जाता है और कशिश को एक बॉटल में भी कुछ नहीं होता. So after having 2 ढक्कन or 2 pegs, Satej will be out, but Kashish, even after having half a bottle, will be in right state of mind. So how do we decide that? Let me give you a trick. So involuntary intoxication is also a type of insanity. So you should reach the stage of insanity. Now, how to guess that? Let's. I hope this session is not getting recorded. So, chaliye, do you guys know that word drinks is an abbreviation? Let me give you a full form of it. So drinks, the first letter D stands for delicious. So when you have your first drink or first shot, everything starts tasting better. So in many cultures, they have wine with their meal. That's the reason. If you don't stop there and you take the second shot, so R stands for romantic. People tend to become more romantic after 2 pegs. Third is I, intelligence. So 3 peg ke baad, you will start showing your knowledge. So 3 pegs down and you become a distinguished speaker. Next, N is for naughty. That means shararte pehle bhi kiya hai. Okay, so that means some of you have attended my classes. So I is intelligent, N is naughty. If you don't stop there, then K is king. You will become king of the world. Like gaadi tera bhai chalayega. Now I'm not scared of anyone. And if you don't stop there and you still continue consuming whichever intoxicant you're taking, S is Syappa or Superman. फिर आप चल के नहीं उड़ के जाते हैं. So involuntary intoxication as a defense can only be used when you reach the stage of Syappa or Superman. उससे पहले नहीं. उससे पहले you are still in your senses. Let's say I got drunk a lot, बहुत पी लिया. Now I mustered courage to call up my ex-boss and abuse him, or call up my ex and abuse her. Next day can I say गलती हो गई, involuntary intoxication? Answer is no. So you are still in your senses. You knew what you were doing. Chalo, let's move on. I hope you guys don't mind me taking names. I have this habit of pulling legs. If you guys take offense, if you get easily offended, please let me know. I will cut down on jokes. And if you guys can take a hit, then we'll continue this way. Chali, let's move on. So involuntary intoxication, let's skip the question. Similarly, there can be self-defense. Another defense, self-defense. I want you people to write down the definition. If you're attending my classes for the first time, this way you will learn how to disintegrate information and understand it in proper way. So, defense of self, definition of self-defense tells us when you can use it, how much, and for what. Just write it down somewhere. I will dictate. When you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat, when you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat. So this is the first part of the definition जो हमें बताता है when can you use self defense, कब use कर सकते हैं, when you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat. Second part, kitna, how much. Then you may use reasonable force, bracket में लिखिए proportionate force. I will repeat, Yash, the entire definition. When you are facing a reasonable apprehension of imminent threat, this is first part. Second part, then you may use reasonable force, bracket open, proportionate force, bracket close. So second part हमें बताता है कितना, first part कब, second part कितना. So when and how much, that is degree. You may use reasonable apprehension. When you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat, you may use proportionate force, also called reasonable force. Last part, for whom? In order to defend yourself slash, or you can write or, your property, someone else, or someone else's property. In other words, in order to defend your body, your person means your body, your property, someone else's person means someone else's body, or someone else's property. So I repeat the entire thing. When you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat, you may use reasonable force, also called proportionate force, in order to defend your person means your body, your property, someone else's person, someone else's body, someone else's property. So खुद की property को, दूसरों की property को. Yes, self defense can be used even on behalf of others. So if you watch Hindi movies, hero climax में यही कर रहा होता है. He's trying to save himself, trying to save his lover, trying to save his family. If you watch Hollywood movies, trying to save the planet. Okay. So, चलिए parts में चलते हैं. First part was when you are facing reasonable apprehension of imminent threat. So right now, during this class, if I show you a knife and say that Tejaswani, I am going to kill you tomorrow. Now, can she kill me right away and claim self-defense? In this class right now, if I say that, answer would be no. Why? Though there is a threat, but threat is not imminent. Imminent means on the spot. So there should be threat, and threat should be imminent. Okay. Then apprehension of imminent threat. Apprehension means, what is apprehension, guys? It is that feeling of fearfulness, अनहोनी का डर. Result आने से पहले होता है दुख. That is called apprehension. You blind date पे जाते हो तो when the other person is not there, you feel apprehended. So apprehension. So there should be apprehension of imminent threat, even if there is no genuine threat. Even if someone is trying to play out a prank on you, you are still allowed to use self-defense. Okay, so chaliye, let me give an example. Shashank was walking on a lonely road. Suddenly एक 7 साल का छोटा बच्चा आता है, a young chap with a plastic revolver in his hand, and he says भैया hands up. Shashank got scared. इन्होंने पत्थर उठाया और बच्चे के सर पे दे मारा. Is that self defense? Answer is no. Why? Because might be he got scared, but there's a prefix here, reasonable apprehension. A reasonable person will not get scared in a similar situation. So we always apply test of reasonable mind. So if there is a reasonable apprehension of imminent threat, you can use force. How much force? We say proportionate force. Proportionate to what? Proportionate to the threat that you are facing. So if there's a threat that you might get beaten up, you are allowed to thrash the other person. If there's a threat that you might get raped or killed, you can even kill the other person. Right? So proportionate, हम golden scale में measure नहीं कर रहे हैं. So that means if I throw, let's say, my phone at you, तो आपको same weight और size और model का phone ढूंढ के नहीं लाना है मुझे मारने के लिए. It's an emergency, right? You will throw whatever you can grab first. So किसी ने थप्पड़ मारा और यहाँ पे 4 उंगली छप गई. You retaliated with a slap और वहाँ पे 5 छप गया. So ये तो excess force हो गया, isn't it? So will you give that person another chance to settle it, make it even? No. चलिए, so ऊपर नीचे चलेगा, but somebody slaps you and you stab that person, that's not fair. Okay, so reasonable force for yourself, for others, your property, others' property. ATM के बाहर बैठा guard is protecting bank's property. Bodyguards are protecting you. So self-defense, let's move on. Self-defense is a defensive right. That means it can only be used against an offense. If other person's behavior is not counted as an offense, you can't use self-defense. Let's say police came to your place to arrest you with an arrest warrant. You started beating them up saying that they were trying to apprehend me, so I'm defending myself. You can't use self-defense in that situation. Okay. It's right to defend, not right to retaliate. So if somebody comes, slaps you and runs away, then it is not your responsibility to find out where he lives, go to his place, beat him up and say, I defended my honor. Okay. Right? So Sarthak has a question, he killed me in PUBG and I killed him in real. Is that self-defense? I think it should be, but court will not agree. Chaliye, let's move on. So don't go to coaching. So there can be many such cases, many such scenarios. Try to answer this question, then we will skip defenses and move on to a few offenses. If there is any particular offense which you want me to discuss, tell me. Chaliye, answer this question quickly. One says, if my teacher is beating me and I hit him, is that self-defense? Answer is yes. Watch. Teachers are not allowed to hand down corporal punishment. But if you do so, your papa will beat you up. Answer this question. Okay. So D, A, Tanya says A. Quickly, guys. We'll try to cover a few more pointers. And then I want to give you a passage-based question from criminal law. Let's try that out. And let's see how well prepared you people are. And remember, if you want me to cover any particular topic from constitutional law for tomorrow's class, please ping me and let me know which areas of constitutional law do you find the most difficult or you would like to revise. Okay, there are a couple of more questions. Meanwhile, I will go to the Q&A. Anonymous attendee says, I want to know the difference between civil miscellaneous application and criminal miscellaneous petition. Well, in India, we have divided courts on multiple bases, by the way, but one broad classification is subject matter classification. So there are separate civil courts, there are separate criminal courts. So when you are filing petition in a civil court, that is generally termed as civil application, or criminal cases it's generally criminal application or criminal petition. Anonymous attendee, I hope that answers. All murders are culpable homicide. Himali, that's a comment, not a question, Himali. but can you explain? Yes, I will. So I will not touch upon many offenses. हम culpable homicide murder discuss कर लेते हैं, which is generally the most confusing one. Purvi says explain ignorance of law and ignorance of fact. There's a general presumption, Purvi, that everyone knows the law. When we say law here, we mean criminal law. So when anything has been outlawed, जब government ने किसी चीज को ban कर दिया है, then you can't insist that you shall be excused because you don't know that the law exists. For example, if I step someone on the street, when police comes to arrest me, can I say I am from Wasipur? Wasipur में तो सब चाकू चलाते हैं. No, I can't. So ignorance of law is not an excuse. कानून नहीं पता होना काफी नहीं है पूर्वी. Otherwise, every year I will say this to income tax authorities. अब मैंने नहीं सुना टैक्स भरना होता है. I never do. So therefore we say everyone knows the law. So ignorance of law is not an excuse, not a defense. Ignorance of fact is a defense. For example, let's say you entered somebody else's house thinking it is yours by mistake, or let's say you were trying your key in someone else's scooty because scooties were of same model and you thought that you are trying to get yours started. So it's an honest mistake, so you will be excused. Ignorance of law, not a defense. Ignorance of fact is a defense. Ignorance of foreign law, by the way, is considered ignorance of fact. You are supposed to know all the criminal laws of your country, not the entire world. Quickly. There's a request. There's chat box is really disturbing. What can we do? I can switch off the chat box, but that will kill all the fun. I generally allow a bit of fun in my chat box, but if somebody crosses the line, that means you should not go below the belt. Otherwise, it's all fun. Chali, let's move on. So if you have a question, put it in Q&A. If you have a comment or a joke to crack, use the chat box. Chali, let's move on. And for writing down one line as yes, no, why not? Answer to this question, guys, would be not protected because he did not kill, guards did, stupid option. Not protected because his own body was not involved, again stupid option. Here it says for others. Protected because to any ordinary person there would appear a reasonable apprehension of kidnapping. Answer should be option B. Child. We'll try to differentiate culpable homicide and murder. If I'm able to do it, I think everybody will be feeling benefited from this section. Which group? Telegram wala ये सब क्या लिख रहे हैं? Let me just go to the chat box. Private defense was in law taught, self defense is in criminal law. अच्छा खुद ही आपस में पढ़ रहे हैं. चलिए good. Freedom of speech, please don't kill. Yes, Unnati, I won't. These people are damn crazy and amazing. Okay. Okay, there's some other group. Please send me an invite. I would love to be part of any fun group. Chaliye, let's move on. Okay, let's start with basics. What is feticide? If anyone knows, what is feticide? Female feticide is a big issue in our country. So feticide means killing a fetus. Correct. What is infanticide? Infanticide means killing a newborn baby. Okay. Female को मारना जरूरी नहीं आदेश. It can be also, we can also kill male child. It completely depends on your preferences. Killing a newborn. What is suicide? Killing yourself. So what does side stand for? What is side? Side means to kill or kill. So whether you say matricide, petricide, insecticide, pesticide, so side always means kill. So when I say homicide, इसका क्या मतलब है? What is homicide? Killing homos, sorry, my bad. Killing Homo sapiens. So homicide means killing humans. Now homicide can be lawful as well as unlawful. What is lawful homicide? Any example for that? Lawful way to kill someone. Kill them with boredom, terrorist encounter, hanging. Yes, that's the answer. So when someone is given death penalty, executioner, jallad, जब किसी को लटकाता है, do we prosecute the executioner then? अब तुम पे केस चलेगा, तुमने मार दिया किसी को? No, right? When someone is killed in lawful encounter, genuine encounter, not the fake ones जो कुछ state की पुलिस ज्यादा करती है. I won't take the name because election आ रहे हैं. Okay. अभी सारा फोकस किसी ग्रुप में ऐड होने की तरफ चला गया है. Just send the link to me. I will put it on my WhatsApp or wherever you guys can copy it from him. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So collateral damage, yes, that's also an example. So lawful homicide is not an offense. Unlawful homicide is an offense. So if unlawful homicide is an offense, someone is guilty, someone is responsible. So guilt को define करने के लिए we use the word culpa. Culpa means guilt or fault. So culpable homicide means faultful killing of human being. In other words, killing of a human being for which someone is responsible. So when someone is responsible. Culpable homicide. यहां तक तो पहुंच गए हम. साइड से homicide से unlawful homicide, also called culpable homicide. Culpable homicide can yes, somebody is sharing number and others are commenting. Prank calls आएंगे. Very true possibility. शायद मैं कर. So culpable homicide is of two different types on the basis of degree. Culpable homicide, if culpable homicide means killing of a human being for which someone is responsible and shall be punished. Now, based on how much mens rea was involved, guilt कितना ज़्यादा है, हम आपका punishment कम या ज़्यादा कर सकते हैं. Right? Both are very severe punishments. Both are very severe offenses. So it's not that culpable homicide is, chota or trivial offense. Both are severe offenses, attracting long-term jail sentence. Okay, but relatively, culpable homicide के severe cases को हम बुलाते हैं culpable homicide amounting to murder. So in order to understand, what I will do is I will annotate and just create a cycle. I can say if this circle is culpable homicide, or let's say if this circle is homicide, that means killing of a human being, there can be an inner circle and we call it culpable homicide. Now within culpable homicide, we can have another smaller group and we can call it culpable homicide amounting to murder. So culpable homicide is general, culpable homicide amounting to murder is more specific. In other words, I can say that all murders, also called culpable homicide amounting to murders, are also culpable homicide. I hope this much is clear. So culpable homicide is the broader category. Culpable homicide amounting to murder is a subset. Now, how to differentiate? Why do people get confused? Look at the definition of section 299 and then look at the definition of section 302. Okay, we will do it with the help of examples. Don't worry, a lot many examples. Section 299 and 300 की definition को हम compare कर रहे हैं. So basically, we are comparing the larger set with the subset. We are comparing culpable homicide with murder. So obviously, there will be a lot of overlapping, isn't it? So whatever falls in culpable homicide amounting to murder will also fall in culpable homicide, but not vice versa. ठीक है, I hope इतना. Guys, please stop commenting in the chat box for a while. आप last में I will give you enough time to socialize. आप अपने Telegram group add remove कर सकते हैं, right? ठीक है. So अभी हम इस पे रहते हैं. If you can focus for just 5 minutes, you will be able to score at least couple of more marks in the most difficult or confusing areas in the field of criminal law. So therefore I started with the basics. Side means killing, homicide means killing of a human being. Homicide can be lawful and unlawful. So now we have moved on to unlawful homicide. Unlawful homicide is called culpable homicide. That means killing of a human being for which someone is at fault. Culpa means fault, guilt. Culpable homicide. Culpable homicide is this circle. तो कल्पेबल होमिसाइड का ज्यादा सीवियर केस या उसका सबसेट कहलाता है कल्पेबल होमिसाइड अमाउंटिंग टू मर्डर. So this is culpable homicide amounting to murder, the inner circle, and the larger one is culpable homicide. Now, with the help of example and definition, you will be able to understand it better. So there are 8 different scenarios that I will discuss, and these 8 scenarios fall under 3 different categories. Many people know only one difference कि एक में intention है, एक में नहीं है, और वहीं पे confusion शुरू होता है. So forget about everything that you read. Now, on a piece of paper, or take a plain paper and write down culpable homicide on the one hand and culpable homicide amounting to murder on the other. I will give you 3 pointers to classify. First point or the basis of difference is intention to kill. First point is intention to kill. So in this first category, you have to write 2 points for culpable homicide and 1 point for murder. मैंने color coding किया है, so whatever you see in red, right? Okay. Common factor in all 8 scenarios is that somebody is getting killed, right? So write it down as first point in culpable homicide. If you kill a person by doing an act, you did something and someone died, you will be held responsible for that person's death. Let's say I got fed up when so many people were typing useless information in the chat box. ये telegram चले जा रहा है, तो मैंने गुस्से में अपना लैपटॉप खिड़की से बाहर फेंक दिया. Right? My neighbor was passing by, लैपटॉप उसके सर पे गिरता है, he dies. Am I responsible for his death? Answer is yes. So, did I intend to kill him? No. But am I responsible? Yes. Will I get punished? Yes. Let's say situation 2. Next day, again, similar thing happened. Sunday ka class, ऐसे ही बच्चे बातें कर रहे हैं. I got frustrated. I pick up my laptop. I opened my window. मैंने देखा neighbor की bike भी वहां से जा रही है. Now, I didn't hate the neighbor, but I hate his wife. So I took an aim. I throw my laptop and again I killed someone. So I killed 2 people in similar way. In which case will I get more severe punishment, or I deserve more severe punishment? This second one, isn't it? Right? So look at the difference. First pointers in red. If you kill a person by doing an act, you are responsible for culpable homicide. Now I'm making this one more severe. So I'm saying, if you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing death, and that is the reason I deserve higher punishment. इतना सिंपल है. तो यहाँ पे जो आपने रेड में देखा, यही सेम चीज यहाँ रिपीट हो रहा है culpable homicide में. If you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing death, यहाँ से confusion शुरू होता है. Why? Because culpable homicide is this outer circle. So in this, whether you kill someone with the intention of causing death, or you kill someone by doing an act without having intention to kill, both will be called culpable homicide. And therefore, culpable homicide amounting to murder is a subset of culpable homicide, तो थोड़ा overlapping होता है. So if you get definition of only culpable homicide, then whether someone is killing with intention or without intention, both will be called culpable homicide. But if I give you both these definitions, then you have to differentiate, and you will say that whichever falls in the inner circle will be counted as culpable homicide amounting to murder. I hope that much is clear. So this was the first category. This was the first category when we differentiated based on intention to kill. If you kill a person by doing an act, culpable homicide. If you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing death, culpable homicide amounting to murder. So दोनों culpable homicide तो होते हैं, लेकिन when there is intention to kill involved, it is additionally called culpable homicide amounting to murder. Now forget about the red one, we go to the second category. Second category, when there is intention to cause bodily injury. Now you don't intend to kill, दोनों में ही नहीं, murder culpable homicide किसी में भी नहीं, आपका intention क्या है? To cause harm, bodily injury. Okay. So this time there will be 2 points in murder, 1 point in culpable homicide. So I say, if you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing bodily injury, which is likely to cause death, it will fall under culpable homicide. So let's say my class में पढ़ा रहा हूँ, thank God it is not a physical class, otherwise I'm teaching and somebody is typing, give me your WhatsApp number, blah blah blah. What I will do is, if I get frustrated, I will kick you in your abdomen, right? Just imagine this happened. आप class में थे, आपके पेट में लात मार दिया and you died. Am I responsible? Answer is yes. But will someone die every time I kick them in their stomach? Answer is no. There are chances, but there is likelihood. So I'm responsible for the death, and it will be called culpable homicide amounting to, culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. Now let's make this more severe. So this is how I killed Rhythm. Now in case of Yash, I know कि उनका अभी appendicitis का operation हुआ है. So there are wet stitches. He was also irritating me, so I kicked him in his stomach, but at that same spot. Again, there is likelihood of death, but my guilt or my mens rea is higher or more severe. Why? Because I had some special knowledge. So look at point number 3, corresponding to this. When you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing bodily injury, but offender knows there is likelihood of causing death. So offender has this special knowledge. So इस वजह से likely to cause death, bodily injury, likely to cause death, bodily injury, तो same है, but offender knows is something which increases the guilt. I hope this is clear. चलिए. Next, I will compare it with point 3. If you kill a person by doing an act with the intention of causing bodily injury, again intention is to cause bodily harm, but injury is sufficient in ordinary course of nature to kill a person. For example, again somebody was irritating me, right? So I got frustrated, I pick up let's say a baseball bat and hit you, hit your head with my baseball bat. This time I will be prosecuted for culpable homicide amounting to murder if you die. I hope ये second category clear है, whatever we highlighted in blue. So in first category, differentiation was on the basis of intention to kill. In second class, differentiation is on the basis of likelihood of causing death. Intention तो common है, to cause bodily injury. Sorted है. Last classification और last category जो हमने green में highlight किया है, that is on the basis of knowledge. Now you know knowledge and motive and intention are different. So this time we are differentiating based on knowledge. So if you kill a person, I'm discussing last point from culpable homicide. If you kill a person by doing an act with the knowledge that your act is likely to cause death, then you will be held responsible for culpable homicide. So recall that example of Chapri Ladka doing bike stunt in local street. If some mishappening takes place and someone dies, the Chapri will be arrested for culpable homicide. So did he want to kill anyone? No. Did he want to cause bodily injury to anyone? No. But was there sufficient knowledge that something might go wrong? Answer is yes. And therefore that person is responsible for culpable homicide. चलिए अब इसको और grave और severe बनाते हैं. So again, when you kill a person by doing an act with the knowledge that your act is so imminently dangerous that in all probability it will cause death. Let's say a rally, a procession was going on the road outside my house, I hated the slogans that they were using. So I pick up my gun, I go outside, and I fired a shot at the crowd. I fired at the crowd. Someone died. Lucky for Kerry. So someone died. So did I want to kill any particular person? No. Did I want to cause bodily harm to a particular person? No. But was I aware of the fact that my action is so dangerous that most probably, or in all probability, it will lead to someone's death? Answer is yes. And therefore, I will be prosecuted for culpable homicide amounting to murder. Thank God. Thank you for your patience. I hope everybody understood. If yes, then try to answer a question. What I will do is I will clear all the information from my screen and I will give you a question. Try the first question, not the second one, just the first one. If you can answer that one, I'm more than happy. Culpable homicide means causing death, and there are 4 options. Akshada is the first one to respond. What about the others? Quickly, guys. Palak answered. Raghav, Aisha, okay. So D, D, A, B, B, D, A, D. Chaliye. I hope सबने options पढ़ लिए. I will give you 10 more seconds. Then I will take you back to the definition. जितने लोगों ने ऑप्शन बी मार्क किया है वो गलत है. जितने लोगों ने ऑप्शन ए मार्क किया है वो भी गलत है. करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन डी. Yes, Kashish, Akshata. Correct answer is all of the above. Now, just go back to the previous slide and look at the definition. As I said, culpable homicide is the main category. Murder is a subset. So, culpable homicide will include killing a person by doing an act as well as killing a person by doing an act with the intention to cause death. So, culpable homicide तो दोनों होता है, लेकिन murder सिर्फ ये second वाला है. I hope it is clear to everyone now. Chalo, so culpable homicide, murder, theft, we can discuss many such definitions, but then last 10 minutes are there. So rather than me giving you gyan, what I will do is I will ask you to solve a question for me. And that question shall be done in a minute's time. आपके सामने एक passage है, इसको जल्दी से पढ़ लीजिए, आपको मिलता है 1 minute. And when you are done reading, just write down done in the chat box. Manchika, Devarshi, Palash, Kashish. Chalo, so when you're reading, you have to identify rules or principles hidden in the passage. If you can do that, you will be able to understand the passage well and you will be able to apply that information on questions. आप लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. अगर आपने ध्यान से पढ़ा है और आपने important parts underline या mark करने का कोशिश किया है, तो this is how it should look like. Right? Acha, so when you read it, when you are about to read a passage, on the first glance, you should be able to point out 2 things without reading the entire thing. Just looking at the passage, 2 चीजें आपको पता चलनी चाहिए. First, is this passage short or lengthy, or let's say medium sized? Secondly, which area of law is this passage related to? Can someone quickly answer these 2 questions? Just looking at the passage, can you tell me whether it is a short one or a lengthy one? Short one. ठीक है. So if you go through the official guideline, they say 450 words, around 450 words. Look at CLAT 21 का question paper. Passages were way lengthier than that. CLAT 20 also passages were lengthier than 450. CLAT 20 का sample paper, all passages were shorter than 450. So yes, it is a short one. It relates to criminal law, but is also dealing with the provision of Constitution. So mainly criminal law. CRPC is the procedural law for crime. Okay, first question on your screen. According to the passage, what steps can the executive magistrate take if section 129 fails? Try to answer in private. That means send it to the host, not to everyone. Just address your answer to host and panelists, so others will not copy your answer. Everybody will have to apply their own mind. Okay. A B काफी कॉमन है. देखिए इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन एरर दैट वी ऑल कमिट. एरर क्या है? सो हम लोग ट्रेसिंग करते हैं रीड अंडरस्टैंडिंग के बजाय. व्हेन यू रीड सेक्शन 129 योर eyeballs will straight away come to these lines 129 and 130. 129, if a group is found in unlawful assembly under section 129, magistrate can issue orders to these persons to disperse. If this fails, so 129 दिखा, fail दिखा, magistrate can use civil force. Oh, option A, pick this one. But it says civil force, which is the police. So option B is also right. So shall I go to option D? Question is not about section 129. Section is what after 129. What if section measures given in section 129 fail? These are powers under 129. If these powers don't work, that means you declared an assembly to be unlawful, they didn't budge. You called a police, they didn't budge, right? Like Kisan on the outskirts of Delhi. Then next step is given in section 130. Then magistrate, that means if these two fail, magistrate can use 130 and call an officer of the armed forces. So right answer in this situation will be option C. Not A, not B, not B. Correct answer is C. Common or rookie mistake. Chaliye, try out this one. Next question on your screen related to Kashish is still having some doubts here, sir. But that's after police fails. So police को बुलाने की power कौन से section में दी है Kashish? Magistrate can call police under which section? 129. What is the question? What if section 129 fails? Then you move on to 130. And what does 130 say? You can call army, you can call armed forces. Okay, chaliye, next question on the screen. With reference to section 130 of CRPC, Chief Minister can issue order relating to public security. This statement is true, false, cannot be determined. Again, if you do a bit of tracing, you will move on to the last sentence, last line. It says, Chief Minister can issue orders relating to public security. So suddenly, आपके दिमाग में आएगा, आंसर होना चाहिए false. True. अच्छा, क्योंकि आपने ट्रेसिंग किया. So ट्रेसिंग हमेशा गलती करवाता है और आपने सेंटेंस पूरा नहीं पढ़ा है. This sentence starts from therefore. Now if you read it, it says under these limited powers, executive magistrate who reports to the CM can issue orders relating to public security. So who is actually issuing orders? Answer is executive magistrate. So this statement is false. Correct answer should be option B. I hope this is clear. Chaliye. Another question. Let's try out. The NCT of Delhi has been given special status under statutory law, constitution, both, none. NCT of Delhi has been given special status. ये question शायद tracing से solve हो जाए. B. Correct answer for this one is option B. Just read first line. It says under Article 239 AA of the Constitution. Chaliye, last question for the day. Who can issue orders related to public security? So passage-based questions में many times questions are interlinked. So if you mess up one question, there are chances कि 2-3 और खराब होगा. Last 1 minute. B. Correct answer is executive magistrate. So everybody knows this time. Right answer. तो आपने second answer गलत दिया होता तो fourth भी गलत हो जाता. Second सही है, fourth भी ठीक है. So with this, I will end this class. I am repeating my number. If you want me to discuss any particular topic from constitutional law for tomorrow's class, ping me and let me know. I will try to cover that much information. We have just 105 days. Try to make the most of it. Take help of your mentors. Book as many my plan sessions as you can. If you're finding it difficult to prepare on your own, please share your concern with your mentors. Please do. Right? There are always doers. There are always crippers. Last 10 years taught me that it is always doers who will succeed. It is not the hard work or the smart work, it all boils down to how much work will you put in. If you participate, you will win, you will learn. Chalo. Let's move on. So please make sure that you're not looking up for inspiration or down in desperation or left and right for information. Please make sure कि यहाँ पे आपका stability, courage, your question selection, your speed, your accuracy, basically your efficiency is being tested. So चलिए, with this note, we'll make sure हम next time कल जब मिले तो कल का session और ज़्यादा useful हो. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got to learn something new. We'll meet again tomorrow. Till then, bye. Take care. All the best.